Chapter 3. The Transformation. Marcus awoke to the sound of birds chirping, their melodies foreign yet strangely soothing. He sat up, the morning light filtering through the dense canopy above. The events of the past few days had been nothing short of surreal, and he still struggled to make sense of it all. His once high-tech gear had been inexplicably transformed into medieval equipment. He took stock of his situation, examining his new gear with a mix of bewilderment and curiosity. Leather boots, pants, and a tunic had replaced his synthetic spacesuit. A rudimentary backpack now held his essentials: a short sword, a bow with 40 arrows, 10 feet of rope, flint and steel, a knife, and several hunting snares. His MREs had been replaced by several days' worth of cheese, salted meat, and dry tack. A small bag attached to his waist contained 30 copper coins and 10 silver coins, each inscribed with strange writing. Marcus shook his head, trying to dispel the confusion. How had this happened? Was it some kind of advanced alien technology, or perhaps a bizarre side effect of the crash? He had no answers, only questions. After the initial shock wore off, Marcus decided to make the best of his situation. He returned to the crash site, only to find that his spaceship had been replaced by an old-fashioned sailing vessel, its keel broken but still offering some semblance of shelter. He used the ship as a base for the next few days, slowly coming to terms with his new reality. Water was not a problem, as a small stream ran near the campsite. However, his food supplies were dwindling, and he knew he needed to find a more sustainable source of nourishment. He set a few snares a short distance from the camp, but had no luck catching anything. With only a few days' rations left, Marcus decided to scout the area further. After 3 hours of exploring a 5-kilometer radius around the crash site, he stumbled upon ancient ruins. The crumbling stone structures were overgrown with vines and moss, a testament to the passage of time. As he cautiously approached, he spotted several rats the size of medium-sized dogs scurrying about. Not wanting to get too close, Marcus set several snares near the ruins and retreated to the forest to observe. After about an hour, one of the rats ventured close to a snare and got caught, its arm trapped in the crude device. The rat emitted a high-pitched scream and began to flail about. Marcus knew he had to act quickly before the rat freed itself. He drew his short sword and rushed toward the struggling creature. The rat, despite its injury, attempted to fight back, scratching and biting at him. Marcus received several scratches, but managed to land a decisive blow, killing the rat. Breathing heavily, he collected his prize and retrieved the other snares. The rat was larger than he had anticipated, and it would provide a substantial meal. He made his way back to camp, eager to have his first warm meal in days. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Marcus roasted the rat over a crackling fire. The scent of cooking meat filled the air, a welcome change from the bland rations he had been subsisting on. He ate slowly, savoring each bite. Over the next several days, Marcus refined his snaring technique, setting traps around the ancient ruins and waiting patiently for the oversized rats to fall into them. Each successful hunt brought him food and a growing sense of confidence. He noticed that with each kill, he became more adept at avoiding the rats' desperate attacks. By the time he had dispatched his third rat, he no longer feared their scratches and bites. His movements were precise and efficient, his short sword finding its mark with practiced ease. However, as the days passed, Marcus noticed the rats were becoming more scarce. It seemed he was thinning out the colony, and he knew he couldn't rely on this source of food indefinitely. The thought of exploring deeper into the ruins loomed in his mind, but he hesitated. There was something unsettling about the crumbling structures, as if they held secrets better left undisturbed. On the 10th day, after dispatching yet another rat, Marcus experienced a strange sensation. It was as if a surge of energy coursed through his body, filling him with newfound strength and speed. He stood there, bewildered, trying to make sense of the sudden change. His muscles felt more powerful, his reflexes sharper. It was as if he had leveled up in some kind of game. What was that? Marcus muttered to himself, flexing his fingers and testing his newfound abilities. He couldn't explain it, but he felt invigorated, more capable than he had been just moments before. He chalked it up to yet another strange aspect of this new world, a place where the rules of reality seemed to bend and shift. With the rat population dwindling, Marcus knew he had to explore further into the ruins. He spent the next day preparing, ensuring his gear was in order and his snares were ready. He also took the time to practice with his bow, honing his aim. If he encountered anything more dangerous than rats, he wanted to be ready. The following morning, Marcus set out for the ruins, his heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The ancient structures loomed before him, their stone walls covered in moss and vines. He moved cautiously, his senses heightened by the strange energy that now coursed through him. As he ventured deeper into the ruins, the air grew cooler and the light dimmer. The sounds of the forest faded, replaced by an eerie silence. Marcus's footsteps echoed off the stone walls, the only sound in the otherwise still environment. He came across a large archway, its surface adorned with intricate carvings. The symbols were unfamiliar, but they seemed to pulse with a faint, otherworldly glow. Marcus hesitated for a moment, then stepped through the archway, his sword at the ready. Beyond the archway, the ruins opened up into a vast chamber. The ceiling was high, supported by massive stone columns. In the center of the chamber stood a pedestal, and atop it, a small, ornate box. Marcus approached cautiously, his eyes scanning the room for any signs of danger. As he reached the pedestal, he noticed the box was covered in the same glowing symbols as the archway. He felt a strange compulsion to open it, as if it held the answers to the mysteries of this world. With a deep breath, Marcus lifted the lid. Inside, he found a small, crystalline vial filled with a shimmering liquid. He picked it up, feeling a warmth emanate from the vial. Instinctively, he knew this was something powerful, something that could change his fate in this strange new world. Marcus pocketed the vial and turned to leave the chamber. As he made his way back through the ruins, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. The hairs on the back of his neck stood on end, and he quickened his pace. When he finally emerged from the ruins and returned to his camp, Marcus felt a sense of relief. He had survived another day, and he had found something of great importance. Whatever the vial contained, he knew it was a key to understanding this world and perhaps finding a way back home. For now, he would rest and gather his strength. Tomorrow, he would decide what to do next. As he lay by the fire, the strange energy still coursing through him, Marcus couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope. He was a survivor, and he would find a way to adapt to this strange new world.